Nehemiah had a distraction on his hands. And the distraction that was on Nehemiah's hands was to take advantage of this seeming opportunity to get in good with the other leaders around Jerusalem to try to settle peace. And I think that opportunity in and of itself is not a bad opportunity. Some people look at chapter 6 and they say, well, it's obvious that Nehemiah, this was a very bad opportunity. This was a really dumb idea. And so Nehemiah in wisdom just rejected it. But I don't think it's that clear cut. I think it's always a good thing to make peace with your enemies. And it was likely that Nehemiah had this idea. Maybe it's not so bad, but he responded to them with what I think is the crux of this passage. It's there in verse 3. He says to them, I sent messengers to them saying, I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. One of my favorite verses in all the Bible. And I don't normally ask you guys to engage with me like this, but I want all of us to say that sentence together. I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. Can we say that together? I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. That's good. Say it with a little more gusto this time. I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. So when it comes to your vision, you got a vision for your marriage, you got a vision for your finances, you got a vision for your children, you got a vision for this ministry, you got a vision for where you're going to go someplace in your career, and you got all these opportunities, and go to this meeting, go to that meeting, and meet this person, and what about this opportunity, and what about that speaking engagement, and what about all these good things. And there comes a time in which, in every single one of our lives, when it comes to our vision, we, like Nehemiah, have to say, you know what? I'm doing a great work and I can't come down. I can't get distracted. Nehemiah took his vision and he had a filter in which he probably filtered every decision that he made as it related to the vision. And he said, you know what? I've got to say no. I'm not going to be distracted by opportunity. I'm not going to say no to the good things, because that means I'm going to lose the best thing. The good things can often distract us from the best thing. At least that's just the way it is in my life. I don't know if it's like this in your life, but the distractions that I'm most likely to cave to are those distractions and those opportunities that are good. So it's not bad to help another person with counseling. It's not bad to go to this planning meeting. It's not a bad thing to this new ministry opportunity, help this or that church on the other side of town. It's not a bad thing, to take on that extra project, even though I may be a few hours longer at work and therefore my family suffers. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it takes away from the best thing. You see that? It takes away from my unique responsibility. So just to give you an example, one of my unique responsibilities, something that I do that no one else can do, is be a father to my son. Audra can get another husband. Of course, I'm unique to the first husband, but she could get another one. But I'm uniquely, she doesn't do that, obviously, but I am Blaze's a unique father. And I have a vision for my child, for my family. And the enemy of the best is the good. And if I chose the good, this, that, or the other, it can lead to a place and kill this vision that I have for my family. And it's the same in your world as well. There has to come a time in every single one of our lives when it comes to your marriage, you say no to the good so that you can protect the best, so that you can protect the vision. So dad or men in the room, when you're tempted to pick up the phone and call your spouse and say, you know what, I'm going to be late, an hour late again. Before you make that phone call, why don't you look at that picture on your credenza, hopefully of your spouse, and say, you know what, I'm doing a great work and I can't come down. Or mom and dad, when you're tucking your children into bed, whisper to yourself, you know what, I've got this opportunity. Yeah, there's this baseball league and we could do all these activities, but maybe it's too much. And you know what, I need to remember I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. Married people in the room, there are tons of hobbies, events, activities, relationships, social circles, country clubs. There are tons of ways for you to distract yourself as it relates to your marriage. And you need to evaluate those things that are on your plate. And sometime or another, you say, you know what? We need to remember We have a vision for this marriage. We are doing a great work, and we cannot come down. And so we're going to have to say no to having dinner with those folks. We're going to have to say no to this budding relationship, and we're going to have to say no to that baseball league. And we're going to have to say no to some things, even though they're good things, because they're the enemy of the best thing. They're an enemy of the vision. It's not just married people, single people. Man, this is so practical for single people. You have a vision for where you want to be relationally. You have a vision of what could be and should be, and then somebody else comes along, you saw their picture, but they're not that godly. And you're thinking, should I sacrifice? Should I take the good even though I had a vision for the best? You got to guard your integrity, guard your purity, guard what could be and should be. Say no to the distraction of that opportunity. It happens to every single one of us. Every single one of us has opportunities in our lives that come into our life, and we have to learn to be like Nehemiah and say to ourselves, maybe even say out loud, whether it's with your children, with your spouse, by yourself, in your company, with your employees, you know what? I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down. Say no to the distraction of opportunity. That's what Nehemiah...